This video is kindly sponsored by Layne. Keep your digital life secure and never forget a password ever again.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Ali. I'm a junior doctor working in Cambridge, and in this video I want to talk through 5 pieces of tech that added an enormous amount of value to my own life when I was a student and are therefore pieces of tech that I would recommend to everyone else. Okay, before we get started, I'm going to skip over 2 things immediately. Firstly, everyone needs a phone. A phone is essential. I'm not going to talk about that. But secondly, everyone also needs a laptop. And the whole debate between whether you can really replace your laptop with an iPad or an iPad Pro is not something I want to go into here. I've done videos about it. I think personally, a laptop is pretty much an essential purchase for students. You can sort of just about get by with an iPad Pro, but you'll have to make a lot of sacrifices along the way, and the software of the iPad Pro is not quite there yet to replace a laptop. Feel free to get a Surface if you want best of both worlds. But yeah, phone essential, laptop/tablet essential. That's not too interesting. Let's talk about the interesting stuff. So let's get started with the first thing on this list, and that is a mirrorless camera. Mirrorless instead of DSLR because they're small and compact and you can take them literally wherever you go. This is the one that I'd recommend for everyone. This is the Sony a6000. It's a few years old, but you can get it for less than $300 at this point, and a decent lens for it will cost you about $200 to $300 as well. I'll put some links in the description below if you want to check some of those out. But essentially this $600 setup has been the single most valuable purchase I've ever made in my life. For 2 reasons. Firstly, it allowed me to create this YouTube channel and create pretty high quality videos right off the bat, if I do say so myself. But secondly, and far more importantly, it's created a ton of memories from my time in med school, memories that I look back on and think, like, every time I do that, I think I'm so glad I had this camera to capture those photos in stunningly sharp detail with like amazing bokeh blurred background. Just infinitely nicer than crappy iPhone photos. And yeah, the iPhone XS Max is a pretty good camera and stuff, but it's just not as nice as having like a legit camera to capture those moments that you're never really going to get back. For that reason alone, I think a camera is the single most valuable purchase that any student, in fact, anyone period, can make, because if you can afford it, / if you can ask for it as a present, the memories you'll create will be absolutely priceless, and you're going to look back on them for the rest of your life really and think, wow, I'm really glad I've got these photos in really good quality. So yeah, that's the camera. It's a bit of an expensive recommendation, I know, but personally I think it's absolutely worth every single penny that you spend on a camera, and the earlier you get it in your student life, the more happy you will be in the long term that you did it. Secondly, let's talk about the second most valuable purchase I've ever made in my life, and that is an Amazon Kindle. I just absolutely love this thing, and I'd actually recommend it to everyone anywhere in the world, not just students, for 3 main reasons. Firstly, a Kindle massively reduces the friction to reading a book. Now, we all probably know that reading a book is going to be better for us in the long run and better for our personal development and all that stuff, rather than scrolling through Instagram and Facebook. The problem is, it's very easy, because we always have our phones on us, it's very easy to get the phone out when we're on the toilet or just before bed or when we're commuting and just start scrolling through stuff. Having a Kindle means that it's equally easy to just whack the Kindle out of our bags or to have it on a bedside table so we can just read a book rather than scroll through our phones. And this has a huge number of knock-on effects for the rest of our life. So firstly, it improves our sleep hygiene, which is really good as a student because it means you're not wasting all that time with that light staring you in the face from your phone, scrolling through stuff. Instead, you're reading a book until you get tired. This is what I do and what I've been doing for the last few years. I just read at night when I'm in bed until I get tired, and then I just fall asleep. And because of this, I managed to get at least half an hour of reading in every single day. And over the last 6 years of my university life, that has added to being able to read a ton of books that have added a load of value to my life. So reducing friction for reading is point number 1. Point number 2 is that a Kindle reduces the friction to getting a new book. Like every time I hear a book recommendation on a podcast or through a friend, it literally takes me 3 seconds to go on my phone or to go on my Kindle if it's connected to Wi-Fi and just buy that book from the Amazon store. I don't even look at the price of Kindle books these days because the possible return on investment is just so ridiculously high. I made a video a few weeks ago talking about 3 non-fiction books that changed my life. I read all of those on Kindle. Maybe they cost me under about £5 each, and those have had a very, very large effect on my life. That's easily worth the price of hundreds of books. And finally, if you're into reading non-fiction, then the highlighting feature of the Kindle is incredible. Anytime I come across a passage that particularly resonates with me, I just highlight it. And over the last 10 plus years since I've used a Kindle, I've got about 1,500 highlights from all the various books that I've read. And there's a really good website called Readwise, where every day they email you 5 of your Kindle highlights. So it's a good way of, kind of spaced repetition, it's a good way of coming across these ideas that once resonated with you. I want to say a huge thank you to Layne for sponsoring this video. Dashlane is a password manager, and you should probably have a password manager whether you're a student or not, because we all have hundreds of accounts for various different online services, and now that most of our lives are on the internet, we really don't want to be using the same password for everything. So Dashlane is a password manager. There are a few others, but Dashlane is the one I use for 3 reasons. Firstly, it can store everything and generate new passwords for you that are automatically generated, and it can store them in their secure database, so you can log into everything with just a single master password. Secondly, it's quite good because it can automatically log you into websites. So like you don't even see the login page, sometimes it just logs you in, which is a nice time-saving tip. And thirdly, it stores all your credit card details as well, which is awesome if you're buying lots of stuff online from Amazon or wherever like I do. You don't have to remember your card details. So yeah, Dashlane is awesome. If you want to give it a try, you can go on the link in the video description, which is dashlane.com/Abdaal. And if you do want to upgrade to the paid subscription model, you can get a 10% discount by using that link as well. Point number 3 is lamps. And lamps, I think, are the single biggest thing that add the most warmth to a room, just in general, but specifically to university rooms that are often quite Spartan in their decor. And given that at university, you're going to have people hanging out in your room, hopefully, because you're going to be a social person, because that's a good thing to do at university. You kind of want your room to be a nice, welcoming, friendly environment. And having those big Spartan lights from the top that the rooms come with is generally not good. So that's why for the last 6 years of my life at university, I've had at least 4 lamps in my room and pretty much never ever turned on the big lights. I wish I could show you some examples. There's one there, there's one there, there's one there, there's one across the room over there, there's one over there. I've got 3 in my bedroom in this flat. And actually, one thing that I'd recommend is a little smart plug set like this. So I bought these about 3 years ago. They were about £20 or $20 on Amazon for a set of 4. And the idea is that you can just plug your lamp into this thing, and then this becomes like a smart lamp automatically. So you can turn the lamps on and off individually with the remote, or just before you go to bed, or if you're leaving the room or whatever, you just have this by your bedside table and you can turn all of them off in one go, which is pretty awesome. Actually, I've still got one connected over there. So that just went off, lol. Yeah, this is a very cheap way to get like a smart lamp room setup without having to spend hundreds of pounds on Philips Hue light bulbs or anything fancy like that. But yeah, lamps add a load of warmth. This makes you better at socializing because it means people will come to your room more because it's got a nicer vibe to it. And having this for an extra 20 quid just makes life easier and saves you time every time you have to turn off the lights. Fourthly, I would recommend a decent pair of preferably noise cancelling headphones. And the reason I recommend these is because if you listen to music while working, like I do, I only listen to instrumentals because lyrics get in the way of working memory far more. The evidence sort of says that you probably shouldn't listen to music while studying, but it's just much more fun doing it. And I've got a Spotify playlist called Study With Me where I have all my instrumentals from films and TV show soundtracks and piano pieces and stuff that you can check out. Anyway, so when I'm working, I put my headphones on, I get in the zone, and then I have like the Lord of the Rings soundtrack playing in the background. And I think just having a pair of headphones that you put on when you're in the work zone is something that's really useful. So even to this day, I carry these with me pretty much at all times, or my AirPods, depending on how I'm feeling. And if I'm in a coffee shop or in a library or like even in public transport and I want to get some work done, I just put the headphones on. The noise cancelling is amazing on these. These are the Bose QC35s. These are a bit expensive, but you can get pretty cheap ones as well. I just put the headphones on and then I'm in work mode. And I think that is quite a valuable thing to be able to instantly jump into while you're a student, but also just in life in general. And the final thing on this list that I'd recommend everyone get is a Bluetooth speaker of some sort. This is the UE Roll. I got it for about £60 about 4 years ago, and it went everywhere with me when I was a medical student, and these days sits in my bathroom. A few main reasons why I think this is good. Firstly, again, if you're at university, you want to be socializing and stuff. And watching TV shows together or watching movies together with people is a great way of socializing. So whenever we'd have Game of Thrones nights, we would either be crowded around a laptop during our placements, or we'd be connected to my monitor in my room or to a friend's projector, but we'd always connect to this particular speaker. Even when you've got 10 people crowding around a laptop, it just magnifies the experience a lot more when you have really decent loud sound. And you can get that through a portable Bluetooth speaker that you can take anywhere, especially if you're a medical student and you go on placements and stuff. And one of these serves a dual purpose as well, because if you don't have an actual set of speakers, which I'd recommend if you spend a lot of time on your desk, but if you don't, then you can use this as the speaker in your room when you're just chilling or doing anything. Or if you're working, you can have your epic instrumental Study With Me banger playlist going through the Bluetooth speaker while you're in the zone. You can be doing some work. So yeah, that's why I'd recommend a Bluetooth speaker. It will add a social value because it gives you decent sound quality when you're having movie nights with your friends. So those were the 5 pieces of tech that I think everyone should get, whether you're a student or not, but especially if you're a student. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you found this video useful. If you liked the video, please could you give it a thumbs up. If you want to see a bit more behind the scenes about how I make these videos, then you might like to follow me on Instagram, where I post stories and stuff from my life in the hospitals. My brother and I have actually recently started a new podcast as well. It's called Not Overthinking, and you can find it at notoverthinking.com. So far we've released 1 episode, but maybe 2 by the time you watch this video. So if you want to hear us talking about random stuff and answering people's questions and things, you might like to check that out. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.